if you could see the wall that I have plastering this globe-like aesthetic onto it from this light on my phone, yeah, it looks like something, doesn't it? For me, at least. So I really can't see it. My webcam's all the way over there, and it's on the set as always. I mean, at least the past week or two has been. But yeah, for today's video, we're gonna talk about something a bit more abstract than even usually I am, which is again for me, anyways. We're not unique, whatever. We're gonna talk about why not all discussions are meant to have a position, and this goes three ways actually. It goes in the sense of not needing to be a debater for a target role. It even means the last two things, which are implying that an argument doesn't have to be a chosen offense to be negotiated for any simple or clear terms. And the last one being that you just generally don't want to have to worry about having a purpose or a progress result or some kind of intention just because it's specific doesn't mean it has to be out of a certain position coordinate. So, what I mean by that is, let's start with the first one. In standardized testing, when you're in school, usually, they want you to pick a side because they don't want you to pick, but have it. It's clear enough that in some of these standardized tests, they do kind of propagandize some of these learnings, so to speak. I won't get too hard on that end of things, but but for the sake of understanding what I'm talking about, like this, even for this topic, or even more how I'm talking right now, there's the idea that you have to pick a side in a debate that is chosen first in our test, because the whole point is to teach that you can argue for a defense really well, but it has to be chosen, and that's the problem. One of three of these things is that if you had to pick a side, at the chagrin of not having to worry about not, or if you're refusing to pick one for any other problem you would have in life without doing that elsewhere, then that's our test. That would be kind of the thing. Is that it was very awkward for me to deal with that kind of thing. But it was just, but having to pick a debater side or debater role of what would you argue for, just because you had to pick a side, which gets into number two of three, which is the idea that you have to, which is the idea that an argument has to have a point that is specific and to its own understanding. And it's no, if I was so meditative and stillfulness wise that it wouldn't have to be like having to be something that is that specific, then yeah, you're not going to worry about that. But unfortunately, the people who look into that, as in most people in general, have the expectation where you're having to explain to them what it specifically was, because even in terms of overstimulation and multitasking, you're not necessarily having to worry about everything being nothing, but if you have to be specific about something, because when something's being communicated, the expectation is that it's something out of everything else that's irrelevant to it. But if it's everything, that means nothing's being communicated in their eyes. As we get into three of three, the idea that progress is the reason that these things exist, and that an intention or an action or a result is the only reason that these communications exist, and the reason that they would not have to be cultured any differently, even if the culture is different. And I think for me, I can take it for granted that the culture is different for me because I have a walk of life that has a little bit of a weird philosophical edge to it, and having to overcomplicate the first half of this video, which still didn't make sense anyways, but it was a little different. Which is a little bit of different content. But having to worry about what those would mean if I had a point for doing these things, it wouldn't be its own point.